couldn't have picked a shorter anime, could I? I couldn't have done, I don't know, a Gundam OVA or a freaking Violence Jack even. Anything that isn't longer than the uncut Lord of the Rings movies, for truth's sake. Seriously, what's this about? Themes? Am I at themes? Let's get to some themes and mysteries. Well, this being largely a story about two brothers, familial bonds are an important part of the show. The brothers were trying to bring their mother back to life when they lost their bodies. Ed sacrificed a limb to bring Al back from beyond the gate. Izumi tried to resurrect her dead son. Scar's brother sacrificed himself to save Scar's life. Even the homunculi are kind of like a bickering family. Specifically, the show is about the bond between brothers. Hell, the most often used musical track is a vocal piece called Bracha, or Brothers, with a Russian child chorus. For a while, it was playing nearly every episode.
Mommy? What did you do? He'll kill you if you hurt her!
Step away. That's my advice, Wrath.
Mommy?
I've started a chain reaction that's transforming her liquid body into ethanol. She's going to evaporate, disappear into the air.
Edward and Alphonse would do anything for each other. They may bicker or even come to blows, but they will sacrifice over and over again to ensure the safety and happiness of each other. This is given an interesting parallel in the relationship Scar had with his own brother.
But the Elric brothers, they live only for each other.
That's true.
Seeing their love for each other, it made me long to say those words myself. Brother, I love you.
The Elrics have a uniquely powerful bond. Sure, they're brothers who grew up largely without parents, so of course they're close. But even under duress, that brotherly bond doesn't break. And at the end of the show, I felt like they would do anything to reunite across worlds. My only sibling would have attached my soul to a toaster and called it a day. Ooh, I would have burned her waffles so bad! Another recurring theme is sacrifice, putting the needs of others before your own, surrendering your wishes, your comfort, even your life for another's sake. Like I said about the Elric brothers, they're both willing to sacrifice for the other. But they're not the only ones. Scar's brother, as I mentioned, gave his life so that his brother could live on. And even though Scar remained angry at him until near the end, he recognized the power of that sacrifice. Sure, Scar planned to use soldiers as the ingredients in a Philosopher's Stone, but he wasn't intending to come out of it alive. He gave everything he could to tip the scale in favor for the downtrodden, in this case the people of Lior. Izumi Curtis gave up parts of internal organs to resurrect her dead son, and when he returns in the form of a homunculus, she's willing to do anything she can to make amends, even if it means letting Wrath kill her. Greed sacrificed too, in a sense. Knowing he didn't have much Philosopher's Stone left to regenerate, he intentionally engaged Edward in combat to test to see if he had the will to destroy the other homunculi. He knew he was going to die one way or another, and to some degree he let Ed win to give him the resolve to move ahead.
They pull the strings. Now cut them. I'm counting on you, kid.
Roy decides to put aside his mission to rise up to the position of Führer because he can't stand for letting people like Hughes die for his ambition when the homunculi are manipulating everything. He confronts King Bradley knowing that even if he wins, he likely won't reach his goal, but there are more important things in life than that dream. It kind of goes back to the overarching plot element of equivalent exchange. To obtain something, something of equal value must be lost. While every sacrifice doesn't perfectly result in a perfect return on the investment, it's still a generally worthwhile philosophy, because it teaches that one has to put a concerted effort into something to receive results. Sort of like the exhausting effort I'm putting into this review, am I right? Am I right?
Oh, no.
The final theme I want to touch on is that of what it means to be human, and the struggle to come to grips with one's humanity, or human beings' inhumanity towards each other. Look at the case of the souls attached to armor. Alphonse goes through a short identity crisis, feeling that he may not be any more than just a mindless automaton when the seeds of doubt are planted by Barry the Chopper. Edward, meanwhile, refuses a killing stroke to the defeated Slicer brothers because he sees them, like Al, as human beings. The chimeras the military created were thrown into cages and wasted away until Greed found them. He gave them purpose, a family, made them feel like humans. When Greed was betrayed by Kimberly, Marta sought out revenge for the one person who treated her decently. The Ishbalans were treated as garbage too, eradicated for their different values by a callous and uncaring military for the sake of using their lives to create a need for the Philosopher's Stone. Ironically, it's Scar who has the least problem killing chimeras or injuring soul-attached armors, and he's also willing to use soldiers to make the stone. Then there's the homunculi. They're often said to be soulless, the result of mistakes made. They aren't strictly the people that were intended to come back, but don't even their lives have some value? Perhaps the reason they retain vague hints of memories of the people they might have once been is because those memories are transferred from the people who created them, with the memories of those lost loved ones in mind. The big reveal at the end of the series is that alchemy from the world FMA takes place in is powered from beyond the gate by the lives of people in a world that is roughly ours, albeit in the past. Energy is carried over to power transmutations. An interesting, though quite controversial twist. What is it truly that makes us human beings? Is it our tactile sensations, memories, motivations? Is there some grand design, some flow of which we're all just a small part of, and does that make us small and insignificant, just energy to power transmutations, or are we actually enormously important to that flow? FMA answers none of these definitively, but it gives the viewer plenty to chew on, which is why it's a series I feel passionate about.
What does it mean that one is all and all is one?
The world is the all,
And I am the one.
One of the reasons I wanted to feature this show as my first review video is because when I felt helpless and hopeless towards the medium, FMA was a compelling, moving story that reignited my anime fandom and still affects me to this day. It has an immersive, lived-in, storied world, a cast of colorful and charming characters with heroes, villains, and every shade in between, and a complex narrative and well-examined themes that carry weight. As much as I couldn't imagine a show impressing me after Bebop did, it's hard to imagine my life without FMA. It renewed my faith in anime, and despite some of its adaptation flubs, it's a stellar evergreen title any anime fan should have in their collection. Hiromu Arakawa, Seiji Mijishima, that Neoranga guy, Studio Bones, thank you. Thank you for this experience. Thank you on behalf of myself and the legions of fans out there who found a place in their hearts for the tale of two brothers' bonds in a magical world. So what was the deal with that red water anyway? Was that like...
その時二人感じるのかけがえのないものを気まぐれな愛の駆け引きを綴る術は明美をだ愛の光に導かれて